Hi, welcome back. I feel like I haven't done this in so long, but I'm glad to be here. As you can see from the title of this video, this is going to be a different kind of video than I usually do. But honestly, I've been thinking about what film or TV show to talk about in the next video, and this is the piece of media that has lived with me the longest in the last few weeks. So I'm going to talk about it today. If you really want to see my thoughts on some films that have been out recently, first of all, thank you. And second, I will put the link to my Screenfish reviews in the description. There were some really good films out recently that I've had the pleasure of seeing. So they'll be linked in the description. But otherwise, today we are going to talk about This Music May Contain Hope, RAYE'S album of the year. I know I haven't heard all the albums that'll be out this year, but I feel like it's gonna be very hard to top this one for me. We'll see. But also, talking about this album doesn't feel that far removed from what I usually do because this album is cinematic. Credits and everything. The album is divided into 4 seasons: autumn or fall if you're in North America, autumn, winter, spring, and summer. And so I'm just going to go through those 4 seasons and go through the story that our protagonist is telling like I would a regular film. So let's get to it. I'll overcome. So the album starts with our protagonist in the rain, in the cold, walking by herself at night, presumably after some sort of rejection. And the sky only mirrors how she feels. She feels cold. She feels lonely. That is what is happening around her. That is what is happening internally. Then she sets the scene for us. She kind of explains all the emotions that she's going through. I feel sad. I feel lonely. I'm comparing myself to other people, which just makes me even more sad. But then after she does that, she moves into this hopeful chorus where she says, I will overcome. She says, I will overcome one day. And even if that day is not today, I'm going to remind myself today that I will overcome one day. And this intro and first song, they set the scene for the rest of the album. This is what we're going to be expecting from the rest of the story, is some feelings of sadness, maybe depression, and also reminders of hope. And so after she sets the scene for us, she goes into telling us some of the things that have contributed to her being where she is right now, alone in the dark on a lonely Paris street in the rain. The first thing our protagonist tells us about how or why she ended up here is that she has endured lies and betrayal from the South London lover boy and the WhatsApp Shakespeare, which I'm going to assume these are 2 different people just for the sake of this video. They could be the same person. So the antagonists in this part of the story are described as some kind of predator in the wild and a poet who lures, how do you say that word? Who lures our protagonist in with his words and who obviously has some nefarious intentions. The storyteller warns us, the listeners, to avoid these 2 kinds of people because she says their antics can lead to a sort of death, metaphorical but also literal, which alludes to cases of domestic violence and intimate partner violence that we hear about all the time. But in our protagonist's case, the death is metaphorical. She has been lied to, she has been used, and she has been betrayed and then left for dead by these people. And this is where autumn ends. It ends with our protagonist's metaphorical death. Cold girls get by, cold girls won't cry, I'll become the winter woman. And now we're in winter. In winter, our protagonist is embracing this new feeling. She is dead inside and she does not care. She's going to embrace the cold. She says she's going to be the winter woman in order to survive. Interestingly, for me, maybe, I don't know, the songs that I really like the most, the ones that get me like dancing the most, are the songs in this section of the music. Actually, the ending of Autumn, What's Up Shakespeare Killer, into Winter Woman, because I just like these kinds of songs just based on genre. I like more aggressive, kind of talk your stuff kind of music. And that's kind of the feeling she has in this song. She's put her guard up, which we understand because she's been used and betrayed and lied to. So this is, her walls are up. She's going to remain cold and she's going to move through life like this. She says, I have things to do. I have money to make. I'm still that girl and I don't need you. And this is how she goes through this song. But then when she's gone and she's done the stuff and she's made the money and she's been that girl, she returns to her house, her home at night. It's still just her alone by her TV battling the cold. Until we hear the clicking and clacking of some heels. Her friends are here. They're here to make her feel better. They're here to take her out where she can let go of all her burdens. Honestly, this song is so relatable because there have been extended periods of time for me where the only thing that's keeping me going is this person's having a party, there's a get together here, I have to go see this person, or this person's coming to see me. And I feel like those times where it's almost like even if we can't live for ourselves, even if we don't have the energy or the motivation to live for ourselves, the fact that there are other people around us pushes us to keep living, pushes us to get out the house, pushes us to live, to enjoy what is around us. And that is a very, I think it's a very important part of the human experience. And as she even explains, her friends drag her dancing where she can put her burdens on the dance floor. And she's able to hold on to this moment tighter and appreciate this moment more because of the pain she's been feeling, because of the sadness that she's been feeling. And after she's been out, after she's had a great time, after she's reminded herself that life is worth living, there is fun to be had, our storyteller quiets the noise a little bit with this next song. If Click Clack Symphony was a dance floor, I Know You're Hurting is a warm blanket, one that we all desperately need. In this song, in this part of the story, our storyteller moves from looking inward to looking outward. She's talking to another character or to us, the listener. And here she's continuing that theme of community being there for you. But this time, instead of them being there for you to go have fun, to go take you to have a good time, now they're sitting with you in your sadness. Now she's sitting with you in your sadness. And she's saying, I see you. I know you're hurting. I understand what that means. Let me be here with you. Let me hold you up. Let me pray for you. Let me carry your burdens with you. And sit with you she does. This song really feels like one you have to stay in. You can't use it almost to cover up something else. It's like you kind of have to face yourself and face the feelings and actually just go through them. That's what this does. And then after she's done this, she takes us back dancing, but this time all of us together. And this time it is with prayers that she's been praying for herself. I need a lifeboat. I need you to throw me something I can hold on to keep going. And then just as she did with I Will Overcome, she moves into this mantra where she says, I am not giving up yet. And then again, she looks outward and she says, whoever's listening, say it with me. I am not giving up yet. We are not giving up yet. So this time she's carrying all of us along into this place where she is lifting us up, encouraging us with the things and the words that she is encouraging herself with. And again, she does this over like a dance house beat. So we are dancing while we are being encouraged. Something you'll notice if you listen to this album is there is a like mix and mishmash of emotions almost with like lyrics and with music, how sometimes they contradict, but also sometimes the music just like changes direction and just feels different. But I think that is so indicative of the human experience where we don't always feel wholly sad all the time. Do you know what I mean? There are things that make you sad and there are things that make you happy, and they can happen at the exact same time. And this is what that feels like almost, or with this idea of hope where we're not in a place we want to be, but we're looking ahead to something better. And so the music is telling us that we're looking ahead to something better. And I will talk more about this later on. Somebody love me once, love me some days, somebody will again. And then we move into spring, which I like to think of as almost a shedding for our protagonist. She's still going through the things that she's going through, but now she has a new perspective. So she starts even with, I don't like the way I look. But then she flips that into, but this is the only body I have, and so I'm going to learn to love it, and I'm going to learn to take care of it. And she sings this this like jolly tune, or she revisits her heartbreak, and she's saying, I know we didn't work out, but I wish you all the best. Or I know this didn't work out, but I learned that I can love, and I will love again, and I will be loved again. Or this person did not respect me, and I know that I deserve more, and I'm going to demand more moving forward. And so, again, she's not exactly in a place that she wants to be, but she is now mentally stepping into what she knows that she deserves, what she knows that she wants. Her mind is renewed in this way. And I want to park here for a little bit, because I know for me personally, when days are really hard, I don't want to do anything. I don't want to think of better. And I don't even mean like, oh, I don't want to. Sometimes that's hard. There's this verse in the Bible that says that hope deferred makes the heart sick. And I feel like it's that kind of feeling where it's not just a heartbreak or something not going the way you wanted it. It's the fact that you put your hope into that. The fact that you were expecting good things. The fact that you were hoping for good things, and then those hopes are dashed. It's almost doubly painful. And then it makes you not want to return there. And so when you're in a place in your life where you don't necessarily like what is happening, you don't like the situation you're in, if you have hoped so many times before and those hopes have been dashed so many times before, it is hard for you to keep hoping. It is hard for you to go back. It does make your heart sick. It does make your heart hurt. And so this section of the story is very interesting to me, because this is what our protagonist is doing. She's shedding the sadness mentally. She's stepping out of the pain in her mind, and she's putting her mind forward. She's putting her mind in the better things that she wants for herself. And then she goes into summer. See, just wanna be free, every single care, every burden that weighs on me, fall away like a soft rain, down into a spring, and feel the golden breeze. And summer starts with a banger that was everywhere. It starts with a really big sound. But again, just like some of the other seasons, how they transition, the big sound actually starts at the end of spring and just continues into summer. And I like to think of the first two songs in this section of music as the protagonist's I Want songs, which I talked about them before, where the I Want songs are usually in a musical where we get to hear how the protagonist is dissatisfied with their lives and the things that they hope for their lives, the things that they want. And they're usually at the beginning of the musical, because it's from there that we can see the trajectory of the protagonist either getting those things and then realizing something else, or just realizing that they need something else, or them going from there to the things they wanted, the things they really needed. We see them not having and then going through the journey to getting. And throughout this album, you can kind of see where in the beginning we can see that our protagonist needs to be in a better headspace. That's kind of the vibe. She's sad at the beginning, and then she moves through this journey where now she's better mentally. So we do see that trajectory. But then it's also interesting to me that now she kind of explicitly states the things that she wants from here on out. She says, I would like a ring. And she says, I want to be free. But she's saying these things not even from a place of pain or a place of sadness. Now she's saying them joyfully. Now she's saying them even contemplatively, but not with pain and end with depression. And this tells me if I want songs are usually at the beginning of the story and then we see a trajectory, this tells me that this is just the start of something new. This is just the beginning of another story that is yet to be written. And that obviously she's a real person, so she's probably currently living. And we'll hear about in the next album. But it's so I guess good and encouraging to think of our lives that way, where oh yeah, now I'm in a place where I'm now expecting something more, and I can say it, I want this, and then I can pursue that, and this is just the beginning of the next phase of my life. And because we're humans, this just keeps going on in cycles. And then after that, she calls for joy. If she's been in a tunnel this whole time, now she's not just saying, I know there's light at the end of the tunnel. Now she sees the light at the end of the tunnel and she's calling it forth. She's saying, here comes my joy. It's coming, or I am going towards it, and we are going to meet eventually. And again, she does this over a very joyful gospel tune, which is also interesting because I think gospel as a genre is one of hope. That's the whole idea of it. It's people singing about better things to come, encouraging themselves with the idea that better is coming. But because we know that better is coming, even though we are not in it right now, we can celebrate. And so that's kind of the gospel vibe. It's celebrating even if you're not where you want to be, because you know that better is coming. And so her singing this song of Here Comes My Joy over this gospel music it just drives the point further that this is the hope that I am experiencing, and I can celebrate because I have that hope. And also, interesting for me again, this sounds like a final song to me. If this was a movie and our protagonist has been so sad the entire time, now we're at this big joyful song, you would think this is a good place to end. But this is not where she ends when she's telling the story. She does the big joyful and joy is coming song, and then she moves into telling the stories of other people. Now she's not talking to herself, and now she's not talking about us. She's telling the stories of other people that exist, other people who are going through heartbreak or have gone through heartbreak or have gone through pain. And then she's singing over them the things that she has been singing to herself, that there are happier times ahead. And this, storytelling wise, is where she ends the story, telling people who are going through pain that better is coming. Now she's spreading the hope that she's had to give herself to other people. I know how hard it is to just even to think for yourself, oh yeah, better is coming when you're feeling low, but then also to then go tell other people, oh no, it's going to get better when you feel like you're drowning. That is difficult. And so for that, thank you for your service, Ray. I just want to note here again that our protagonist is not in the happy ending that she wanted for herself. The last storytelling song is literally called Happier Times Ahead, which means she's not where she wants to be yet. And this is where the story ends, not in a, oh, I finally got it physically. It's more of mentally, I'm good. And for what this story is, this is the happy ending, I guess you could say, that we were expecting. But again, her physical circumstances have not necessarily changed and do not necessarily show that happy ending. Yet, this is what she wants to give to us and to leave with us. That idea that even if your physical circumstances haven't changed, mentally, you're better. Mentally, you're calling things forward. Mentally, you're not even pushing yourself, because pushing sounds like you're forcing, but you're actually like joyfully leaping, joyfully skipping towards the future. And in a way, for right now, this is the best outcome that we can hope for. And so that when we do get to the happy endings, I guess you could say, it's almost like you're mentally prepared for those. You're mentally ready for those. You're emotionally ready for those. You're spiritually ready for those, which I think is also interesting and important to note. You have to go listen to this album. It is so beautiful. I love I love when people love what they do and are really, really good at it. It's so, like, my mind can't even, like, fathom some of the ways things get created, and I'm just always in awe when I see people doing it. And Ray is one of those people, I feel like. So go listen to this music, May Contain Hope. It is very beautiful. It's very hopeful, and I think what I see from that album when I hear it is if we're in a state now where our hearts are sick because our hopes haven't dashed for so long, if we've been in positions where we've been trying and struggling and things aren't working out, this is kind of an infusion of the hope and the motivation we need to keep going. It's one of those ones that kind of pumps you up, and not, it's one of those ones that pumps you up, but not just sonically, just like in your soul. It really like lifts you up in your soul, and I feel like that is the purpose of why she's named this May Contain Hope. She really is pushing hope through it to listeners and to all of us, and so go check it out. Also, if you have any recommendations for any films or TV shows you want me to see, please let me know. I feel like I haven't like finished any TV show I've started recently, which I don't know what's going on. I'm just getting old. But anyway, it was good to be here today. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video.